Hello everyone, I got it wrong last time, but this is episode 6 of the Front Page podcast. Again, we're a man down, Collie's not here, but it's myself, Ross and Matt this time. Hello Matt.
Hi Ross, looking forward to having a bit of I don't even know, it's not even going to be a debate because I was on the Whittaker side, you're on the Adesanya side, so
The
we'll see
winning,
how
the
that goes
winning.
on. Yeah.
I was on the winning side last night.
Yeah, well. Do you know, I know he's a good fighter, I've always, you can tell he's a good fighter and always have seen him be a good fighter, but I just don't like him.
I don't know why. It seems to be quite popular to not like Adesanya, but I think he's incredible.
I don't like his attitude. I don't like, to be honest, if I put it in this way, when I found out how old he was, I was surprised.
Yeah, he
Because,
acts like he's in kind of mid-20s.
yeah, not even. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I thought when he came on the scene after his first couple of wins, so I thought he must have been 22, 23, and he's got this, because he could keep talking about him as if he was this prospect.
Yeah.
But he's 30 years old, and, it's fine. I'm glad he's having fun and everything. But, I don't know, I think some of the things, but I know a lot of fighters say unsavory things, and that's fine. And I don't like that either. Depending on what they say, obviously. But, some of the things he said to Robert Whittaker were a bit, I don't know, disrespectful considering Whittaker's history, I suppose. But, yeah. And I don't know. Sometimes you take against people, and, I guess that's kind of what happened. I'll always be able to sort of appreciate how good he is and that kind of thing, though. So,
See,
I'll
there was
always
a
appreciate
degree.
his. Go on.
Right, there was a sort of degree of kind of trash talk, but it's really toned down. He doesn't really say anything that's too bad. He's kind of confident, borderline arrogant, but
Hmm.
he doesn't say anything that's crossing any lines, in my opinion. He's like a family friendly Conor McGregor.
Well,
And
I don't know. He was calling Robert Whittaker a meth head.
I missed
And I think he just kind of tried to go over the top and try and get
that.
in Whittaker's head a little bit, and it just came off a little bit like, it's not what he normally does. It doesn't kind of, it comes across as a bit try hard, I guess, when it doesn't come natural to you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But, when you're talking to someone like Whittaker, you've got to appreciate that he's a good champ. A lot of people will knock him a bit, but you had 2 wars with Romero, and that's got to be worth some respect. So, I don't know. I just don't really like him as a person very much, but as a fighter, I can't really fault him. To be honest, he was incredible, really, wasn't he?
Yeah, I saw someone saying, like last night, that was Adesanya's like one of his easiest fights in the UFC, and I can't really disagree with that. He was kind of in control from the first bell to the last, like when he knocked out Whittaker.
Yeah.
He wasn't really in any danger for any point. He got
No.
kind of clipped a couple of times, but I don't know what Whittaker's game plan was.
Just before that final knockout punch, the one that knocked him down in the second round, Whittaker caught him a little bit, and you could see,
Yeah.
you could see that it was, if it was a bit harder, that might have sent Adesanya down, but it would have been an unfair, in a way, it would have been an unfair win if that had happened. But,
Yeah.
apart from that, there was no danger, really.
I don't know what Whittaker's whole game plan was, because all he done was wing crazy punches and blitz forward, and you're fighting someone as high level as Adesanya. For the whole, he can glide out of those situations all day long. Like,
I mean, if you're trying to take on Adesanya, it was basically, I guess, kind of like a kickboxing match without gloves, or
yeah,
with just small gloves. And if you're going to do that to someone like Adesanya, then you're going to find yourself in trouble. And really, he should have been. He's got the ability to do so, so he should have been trying to take it down a bit more and try and control it against the side of the cage a bit more.
definitely.
Just kind of, it's a Whittaker thing he seems to do when he does it is take down people against the side of the cage, and I guess that's what I think he should have tried to do. But it's easier for us to say on the side. We're not in the cage. We're not pros. But
I mean, that's true, but to me it seemed like an absolute no-brainer. Like, Adesanya's this guy who's, like, so experienced, and he's got all these striking credentials. Like, surely you're going to go in, try and nullify that by taking the fight to the ground. Like, that seems like it's
yeah,
not even a question. It was
well, I
strange
guess
to me.
the constant pressure that Whittaker was trying to put on, I suppose, is to try and reduce the distance. And because obviously Adesanya is a great long range striker, so. But it didn't work because Adesanya's defence was top notch, his movement was great, and all that kind of stuff. So then you think you at least go for a takedown, at least
Exactly.
try and take some top control, and you never know. I don't think we really know what Adesanya's like underneath yet. So maybe you could test him, you could give him some ground and pound and see where it gets you.
To be fair, it was really brief, but in the Gastelum fight, he did kind of show good moments off his back when he threw up a triangle. Like, we almost looked as if it was in, but he did kind of show that he's at least confident enough off his back to go for submissions and scrambling and things like that.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's, but at the same time, standing up wasn't working, so. Give it a go, see what you can get. And I'd also say, that Gastelum fight was obviously people will probably be talking about it for years to come. But the Israel Adesanya in that fight was not as good as the one last night.
I don't think we've ever seen a version of him that's as good as last night. Last night it was just incredible. He's a world beater last night.
So I think if you watch that fight against Gastelum that set up this fight, you would think. I don't think you see someone who's going to beat Whittaker in that fight, and then you have, but the one from last night, I don't know what he's been doing or what sort of coaching he's been getting, but he was just unreal. I guess it was the perfect game plan, especially if Whittaker isn't going to try and take you down.
It's got nothing to improve.
Yeah, but he was just, I talk about prospect and the fact he's already 30 and stuff, but he is still improving, and it'll be interesting to see what he does when I hope he does. He did say he wanted to take on the rest of the middleweight division first before looking at something else. So hopefully, be interesting to see what he's like against those other fighters. Like if Taylor or Gastelum get the win at 244, neither of those two are going to be far away from that fight.
Yeah, well, I mean the fight there is Paulo Costa. That's the one that's going to be next.
Yeah, he called out Paulo Costa, didn't he? And then
if his dad doesn't get him first.
I mean, I wouldn't be too concerned about Costa if I was Adesanya, to be honest.
Me either. I think he handles Costa without too much trouble.
I think Costa's a beast, and he's a big guy, and he's muscly and everything, but his range isn't big. And if he can pick off Whittaker like you picked off Whittaker last night, then I think he can do the same to Costa, really. Because I would pick Whittaker to beat Costa as well. So it's one of the. I just think that Costa is not quite there for beating Adesanya at this point.
I would agree, but do you think if Costa was to blitz forward and really catch him with a hook, do you think he potentially has the knockout power that maybe Whittaker was lacking? Like just the one-shot knockout power? That could be a difference.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But he also, I think I'm not entirely sure if he does have a shorter reach than Whittaker, but he doesn't seem to make as much use of what reach he has as Whittaker does. So if he can get close enough to land a short hook, then maybe he would knock him out in one. So I don't know.
Assuming that he does beat Costa, how do you feel about the whole move up and fight John Jones conversation?
In general, I'm not a fan of people defending once, defending no times, whatever, and then having a look at another belt. I think. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of aside to the idea of Adesanya fighting John Jones in hypothetical situation. But I don't like that they move too much. So in general, I would prefer that he at least defended 3 or 4 times before he gets offered that fight. But if the fight was to happen in the middle of next year after he's defended against Costa or whatnot, then I think
those 4 fights for Adesanya that I think seem like kind of defences that he should make, and that is at some point I would take a rematch. Then Costa as well, obviously, so there's 2. I think potentially the winner of Gastelum Till, and then also Jared Cannonier. I think those 4 defences I'd be quite happy with. And then if he wants to fight Jones, then go ahead.
I hope he does fight Till, because there's been a little bit of talk about that for a little while, hasn't there? When Till was talking about moving up to middleweight, like even I think 2 welterweight fights ago, saying that eventually he will be a middleweight and he can't wait to knock Adesanya's block off. So it'll be interesting to see that one.
I mean that all rides on how he performs in MSG, I suppose.
Yeah, if Till beats Gastelum, he's already a top middleweight. So it's kind of because Gastelum is. I didn't rate him very much, but he put on he got a lot of credit from that Adesanya win, and not win, but you know what I mean. That Adesanya fight, he got a lot of credit from it.
His stock went up. He won in that sense.
Yeah. So I think either one of those two, they'll be close for the next fight after Costa.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, but yeah, against John Jones, I think it will be quite interesting. Just because of the range and the height.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting, but the one kind of worrying factor I can't stop thinking about is the size difference. I mean, Adesanya seems to make 183 without too much difficulty, and then you have Jones who cuts to make 205. So, how big a factor would that play? That's kind of one thing I keep thinking about.
Well, it'd be the danger, because we know that Jones is good everywhere, so you know that he can catch you when you're standing up, and when the natural weight difference is probably 50 pounds or more. You're looking at Spark. if he catches you with one of those elbows, or if he, he's just got nasty kicks as well, hasn't he? I mean, I know they're not as technical maybe as Adesanya's kickboxing.
They're just nasty though. That's a good word to describe it. They're just nasty kicks.
Yeah, like when he gets you, he can welt you up in no time, and then if he takes out one of Adesanya's legs in that way, then Adesanya's kicking game is gone.
Yeah.
So
hyperactive, not hyper. What am I on about? Hypothetically is the word I'm after. Hypothetically, if Adesanya was to defend against the 4 guys I mentioned, then move up and beat John Jones, say finish John Jones, where does that rank him? As in like the conversation of the greatest?
Well, annoyingly for me, because I don't really like him, it'd be hard to argue against him being up there in the top 2 or 3.
I mean, if he does defend a good few times and then beats who's kind of highly considered the greatest of all time, he's got to be in the conversation at least.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, anybody really who's got a very good record and then actually legitimately beats Jones has to be up there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the bandwagon before last night, but now I'm so hard on that bandwagon. I don't think it'll ever come off. Like my Twitter cover photo is now Adesanya. Like, I don't know, he's kind of took me over.
Yeah, mine's still Akihabara in Tokyo, but I don't think I'll ever change that. But I don't even think about that. But yeah, okay, that's a nice way of showing your support, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, he's good, obviously, and if he went up and defeated Jones, legitimately finished him or unanimously decisioned him in a comfortable victory, then, I mean, with the size difference, it would be an incredible achievement.
Could you imagine a 5-round war? Adesanya and Jones, a really close, tight fight, just an absolute slugfest for 5 rounds. What, a technical slugfest? A technical...
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Adesanya would survive a war against someone that size.
By slugfest, you know I mean, a fight where both guys are kind of hurt a few occasions, it's close, it's back and forth, like, that sounds like dream stuff for me.
Yeah, I mean, if I'd like a fight that's 2-2 going into the 5th.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that'd be good.
There's never a better situation. Like, you don't really get a boring 5th round when it's 2 each.
No.
It's going to be really entertaining either way. I don't know how much longer we're going to talk about Adesanya for, but before we move on anyway, we need to talk about that walkout. That entrance was unreal.
If you say so.
I don't like it. You're quite after
It's not even that, because I like Stan Fairtex walkouts and stuff with their dance routines and stuff. It's just a bit more playful, I guess. I kind of find them a bit serious.
Yeah, I liked it. It completely caught me off guard. And then when he goes out...
It was well done, to be fair.
Yeah, he goes out and backs it up like that. It's like... I mean, I saw a tweet saying, like, if you walk out like that, you need to go and win. Yeah. You can't do that and lose.
No, you can't. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's something... I like the... One thing that I find disappointing with the UFC in general is that they don't put on a show. So,
true.
You know, aside from the fights, which are obviously what everyone is really there for, so it's not like a huge deal or anything, but, you know, I like the idea of being, you know, personalities coming out in the walkouts like that. It's a good thing.
So Lee you weren't that, like, overly impressed with Adesanya's walkout. Would you encourage more fighters to do that type of thing, to kind of build more of a spectacle?
Yeah, I mean, it's only because It's not so much to do with. It's probably more to do with the fact that I don't really like him very much.
Yeah.
It's not like it's fine, but I would like people to be a bit more. And if your walkout, if what you need is to come out stoically, just listening to your music and getting yourself pumped, then that's great, and that's your personality and whatever. But I like the idea of having that kind of showmanship and stuff. In general, and as you see, like the shows like Ryzen and KSW in Europe and all that kind of stuff, where they really put on an effort between matches and with that kind of thing to make the whole thing a show. Like they have light shows and they have all this really cool stuff to keep people entertained between, and just adds to the spectacle of the thing in general, if you know what I mean.
Do you think maybe the UFC don't prioritise that because they know they've got the top caliber fighters there to see, whereas someone like KSW, they don't have the best caliber of fighters, so they try and kind of raise their game through production, whereas UFC know they're already there, so I don't really think about it too much.
Maybe, but they can't. They do have obviously the best in general, but like Ryzen, for example, they, in my opinion, they have a few fighters that are up there with the best.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's you just kind of have to. I know they've got the roster in general, but you've got the idea that other promotions can get those top fighters now, where maybe they couldn't 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or like in that gap between sort of, the old Pride days and all that kind of when there really was only UFC. Just for a short period, I suppose. But like now, there is the chance that people will choose to go to one or to Ryzen instead.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it's good. The bigger those places get, the bigger chance that is going to happen. And if you've got eventually a roster which is as good as anywhere else, but your show overall maybe isn't quite as good, then when do you start, I suppose, losing by it? It's never going to lose completely because it's America's number one promotion.
Yeah.
And that in its own right will keep it, at the top. But
I don't want to clarify. I'm not kind of one of those people who are like of the belief that the UFC just have all the best fighters. Like there's definitely some people from One and Rising and those sort of places where their top fighters could definitely give the best UFC fighters a good run for their money. But
in the scheme of things, yeah.
The general kind of just the average quality of UFC fighters is kind of surpasses everywhere else.
Yeah, it is, and it's the oldest promotion.
Yeah.
In terms of out of the big ones, the oldest one that's got the money and all that kind of stuff, and it's understandable that they would have the best in general, and they do. They have the best individually in general, and they have the best overall. Obviously, they've got most of the top 10, most of the top 20 pound for pound list will be sort of 17, 18 UFC, and a couple from somewhere else. If you're going to be, Kyoji lost to Asakura last time, but I'd still have him in the top 20 pound for pound, and I'd still back him to beat Cejudo. Yeah. You've got, maybe obviously you've got DJ in One, who's still just as good as he always ever was.
Yeah, he's still got to be up there.
So you've got, I've got people in other places, but yeah, I know what you mean. I wouldn't say that you are, bigoted. You're not an MMA bigot.
I'm not a simpleton.
Yeah. I suppose that the big thing is in the female spectrum. I would say the difference is a lot less.
Yeah, I'd say Bellator. I mean, I suppose Ryzen have a lot of good quality fighters as well, but I'd say Bellator is probably maybe the best for female fighters.
Yeah, possibly.
You've got McFarlane, like Liam McFarlane. You've got Julia Budd, kind of people. Leah McCourt, I know she's not really there yet, but she's a really good Irish kind of prospect. So the female quality there is really high. So
I think you got some females in sort of Ryzen with Hamdallah, who we mentioned before we came on, and again in One with maybe Zhong and Angela Lee and Stamp Fairtex, who would give trouble to the most women in their divisions in not that they don't have atomweight division in the UFC, or I don't think they have in Bellator either, but they do it in Invicta.
So what is that? Is that only £105?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tiny.
Yeah, but it's they have it in one, but obviously they have to weigh 115.
Oh, right, okay.
Because they hydrate.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it would be 105 in UFC or Bellator. So yeah, cool.
Oh,
we spent a lot of time talking about pretty much Adesanya and then a big branch off into nonsense, as we tend to do, I suppose. But the only other really there's two talking points in my opinion. We've got Hooker and Iaquinta.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
So we'll start with him first.
Yeah.
Or with them first.
So obviously Hooker looked amazing.
Yeah, he did. And Iaquinta was kind of disappointing, to be honest. But Hooker technical striking was just, it was perfect, really, wasn't it? I mean, all parts of the body, disabled one of Iaquinta's legs. I mean, it was as dominant as you could get for a
do you feel like
performance.
Do you think maybe Al getting that opportunity to fight Khabib kind of maybe shot him up far too quickly? Because I mean, he's always been a kind of top 15, but not really pushing top 10 level fighter. He fought Khabib, obviously done really well in a lot of people's eyes, but do you think that was kind of just because of the last minute change and the toughness of him? That's kind of made him look a lot better than he actually was.
Well, it was that chance, wasn't it? That kind of, I've got a championship fight.
Yeah.
And that kind of extra, the extra reward, the extra kind of the possibilities that come from that fight. I think it does make a difference to your mindset and how much you're going to stick in and how determined you can be. And Khabib, as great as he is, he doesn't often batter people, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Controls them a lot and doesn't damage, definitely. So it's maybe, I'm not saying it's easy, but his defense on submissions was really good for that fight. So, but it is, in general, I can't, he's always, I kind of think you're right. I don't think he is that far above the kind of people like, I don't even think he might even be above Lee. He's probably, I know he beat Lee, but he's kind of on Lee's level.
Yeah. He did look really convincing against Lee. I mean, early on in the fight, Lee was kind of successful in catching him a few times, but as it went on, I kind of just took over the fight.
Yeah. I think if you're now, I mean, as much as everybody loves him, and if you're losing to Cowboy now, you're not a title contender.
Yeah.
Because I don't really think that Cowboy is either. I mean, people, we did really well in the first round, but since when has Tony Ferguson ever had a good first round?
Yeah.
And then he absolutely tore him apart in the second round. I mean, it was just brutalizing. Every single elbow landed, every single shot he wanted to landed whenever he wanted it to. And he just absolutely destroyed him in that second round. And if that had gone on, if he hadn't broken his nose and he hadn't puffed it up, then the third round would have been the same. And, eventually it gets stopped. And, and this is the title contender. We're not even sure if Tony could beat Khabib. He might not. Even, he would go in as an underdog. But he absolutely...
controversial kind of statement. I don't think Tony has the best chance to meet Khabib, and I'd honestly say I'm in the camp that Gaethje has the best chance stylistically of beating Khabib, or giving him the most problems at least.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to say that Tony has the best chance, but he's one of those fighters that is talked about as he's in the pound for pound top 15, top 10.
Because
but he's still not. It's the kind of, because he is that good, and Gaethje might be the one, Styles and all that kind of thing. But I don't. I think it's one of those two, to be fair.
Yeah, Gaethje's had kind of scary power recently. He's knocked out Barboza, Cowboy.
I love the leg kicks.
There was another one as well. I'm sure there's 3 first round KOs in a row. I can't remember the other one. James Vick, yeah. So he's got good
knock
power.
Out Vick these days, apparently.
Yeah. We always kind of hear people talking about how great his wrestling is. So Khabib would kind of force him to actually put that on display. So when you take the crazy pressure, the huge power, and then if he does have like this incredible wrestling, I know he has the credentials to back it up, but we've not seen it in the UFC yet. So if he does kind of pull his wrestling,
he doesn't want to do it, does he?
Yeah, exactly. Like he spoke about it recently in his past couple of fights that he might.
So he's doing it for. Yeah, well, I hope so because, well, I don't know exactly if Khabib gets him down, his wrestling's not going to help. Not really, because he's down then, isn't he, already?
Probably not, but I mean, scrambles, if he has good scrambles, you never know. No one's really tried to scramble against Khabib, really.
Yeah, if his takedown defence is up to scratch, then that could be, that's obviously the big thing. If he can stop Khabib taking him down so much, then that's the danger, isn't it?
So that's kind of Gaethje's chance, and like Ferguson's chance is like the fact that when he gets to the bottom, it's relentless submissions, elbows, punches, knees to the body, like.
That's exactly what I would be relying on with Tony, is that I don't think there's anybody as dangerous off the back as him.
If you were Ferguson, would you spend any of that camp, or would you, not none of it, but would you kind of prioritise stand-up, or would you just go all in on making sure your ground game was just super up to scratch, the best it could be?
I think, to be fair, he's been doing it long enough. He's a black belt in BJJ, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't think he's at the kind of level where he needs to focus on that, if you know what I mean. I think he is just so good anyway that's almost natural to him. Obviously, he'd be drilling, training, blah blah blah. So I don't know. I mean, but he's better standing up than Khabib is.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of trying to get at. Like, I know, in my opinion, the striking's already there. Like, even just keeping the striking the same level, like he has the ability to strike Khabib. What I was kind of meaning is, like, should he be down there just putting in as many rounds as he can? Like, just, I know his cardio's great as well, just to kind of take every kind of precaution that you can deal with Khabib. Have your kind of grapple stamina as high as it can be. Have your submissions as sharp as they can be. Like, just a kind of positional awareness. I know he's got all of that, but there can't be any harm in like just sharpening those tools as much as they possibly can before going there with him. That's kind of what I was trying to say.
Yeah, and just to add to that as well, he's a collegiate wrestler as well.
Tony. Super high level wrestler as well.
Yeah, he's got the skills, and it's just a case of, I don't think, Tony's got a great stand-up game, obviously, but I still think it will be when Khabib takes him down rather than if.
Yeah, definitely.
Then it would be the case of, those elbows from underneath if he can get them, and it's just the constant submission attempts. But I mean, Sambo is an incredible martial art, and they're not. They can defend submissions. They can do their own chaining submissions and all that kind of stuff. So
you see the success that they all have in the UFC as well. It transitions really well into MMA, the Sambo style.
Yeah, I remember I had a Sambo class because we had it's not operating anymore, but we had a Team GB member of the Sambo. He competed in European Sambo competitions and stuff for Team GB. And he ran Sambo classes here in Liverpool, but he doesn't do it anymore. And he came to give us a special class on just takedowns, really. And it was just the amount of stuff we learned in that one class was just amazing. And the guy is shaped like a barrel. He's like he was really short, but really thick in the chest.
Like a barrel.
But he was just like the way he could move. It was just unbelievable. It just it's just impossible to knock down. I mean, I'm a big guy, and he was, maybe a foot shorter than me, and maybe 5 or 6 stone lighter. But yeah, just impossible. And he's only obviously a low level, not low, but relatively. He's not near world champion, not near European champion.
Yeah.
But
he had the understanding of it greater than what most people have.
Yeah. So it's just to see it in action like that was quite a privilege. But hopefully we'll get him down in the club again at some point. But yeah. But anyway,
I mean, we just spoke about tangents. We've kind of been on one. No, it's still related to the lightweight picture. I suppose it's not too bad. But so Tuka got on the mic and just called out Poirier and then got off the mic again for a 2020 show in New Zealand, which hasn't been announced yet. I think he's kind of shooting a Hail Mary, but how do you feel about that call out?
Well, I think the whole thing is a Hail Mary, isn't it? He's not got a chance in hell. He's not got a chance in hell of getting Poirier.
I don't know.
Not next fight. No way. I mean, he's not even in the top 10 yet. Maybe he's after this win.
I mean, he's beat number 6.
And Poirier is the next. He's just lost in a championship fight, and he's probably going to be, maybe, if anyone is going to have Conor McGregor, it's going to be him, isn't it?
I mean, Poirier's number 2. What's his name? Hooker just beat number 6. So, I mean, you've seen that sort of fight happen before, like that sort of difference in rankings when that happens.
It would be a step up, obviously. I think Hooker would lose.
Yeah, most likely.
But I think I know he's taken his opportunity in front of everybody to call out one of the best. But I don't know if the UFC would want that yet. No. I just I mean he's on a great tear at the moment, isn't he? I mean he lost to Barboza, but apart from that he's 6-7 and some decent names on there. No one.
I mean he's 6-1 since moving to lightweight, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's doing well. I can't, I'm not going to diss him. He's definitely got some potential up there, or down there, I should say. He went up, didn't he? He went up, yeah.
Yeah. One thing Chael Sonnen keeps talking about is the fact that McGregor always calls out lightweight winners if they perform well. So he's been talking about how a fight would go between McGregor and then. At the time, we were saying the winner of Hooker Eichwinter. I wouldn't know that's Hooker. So how would a fight between McGregor and Hooker go? Is that a potential opponent? I know Hooker's not got the star name. He's not got anywhere near the draw that I feel like that would need. But hypothetically, if that came together, like, what chance would you give him?
I'm not. Recurring theme. It'll always be. I'm not McGregor's biggest fan.
Yeah.
But at his best, he was incredible. I would be surprised. I'd be surprised if he'd get anywhere near that now. I
know, but at a stage now that it all depends on what Conor McGregor would get. Like, if Hooker, just say Hooker does get the McGregor fight, if Hooker shows up super motivated, he's got a huge opportunity, and then we get that kind of lackluster McGregor that we kind of saw in the Khabib fight. He's just kind of flat-footed. Just doesn't look the same. Anything could happen. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen then.
Well, Hooker's got the ability to land these combos, and but obviously it's a hard one to know because nobody really knows what level Conor McGregor can be. Like anymore, if you know what I mean. If we're talking about 2016 Conor McGregor, then Hooker gets smashed all over the place. But if we're not, then maybe it's a bit more of a throw up in the air because. I don't know, because I don't know, I just think that it's hard to tell, but not many, I don't know if there's many in the top 5 that McGregor would win against now. I mean, and that's not because he's not talented, because obviously he is, and not because he's not got the ability, because he has, but it's just ring rust, if you want to call it. I hate that cliche. It's a thing. He's not been fighting competitively.
Yeah.
For 3 years apart from one, and they call Mayweather one. I know you bum that thing, but for God's sake, that Mayweather fight was not competitive.
No, I just love the spectacle. I love the
and
whole
it's also
camaraderie.
Yeah, but it's the idea of he's had a boxing camp and all that kind of thing. But the idea that he was ever going to get close to winning it is a joke, and it wasn't. It wasn't in terms of his UFC time, at least it wasn't a serious fight that we can count when we're talking about whether he'd be prepared for coming back into the cage. So I don't know. It would be good to have a good Conor McGregor back, but maybe one that would accept that maybe he wouldn't be in title fights every time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing about McGregor. He's sitting saying how he won't fight unless it's the main event, but then that kind of puts you in a catch-22 where UFC don't want to have pay-per-view main events without a belt. McGregor does not deserve a belt at this point in time. So does that mean he's a main event on a fight night? that's not going to happen either.
Well,
So
they could just
someone's got to give.
They could just invent a nonsense belt like they have for 244.
It's a fun belt. It's a bit of fun. I love
So
it.
why can't? Well, there you go. Invent a fun belt for Conor McGregor then.
But I don't think he's not interested in a fun belt. I think McGregor himself would be disinterested in it. I think
they have set a precedent where they can just make something up if they don't have a title fight to put on the day.
I mean, I know Dana does kind of blow a lot of smoke sometimes, but he did say this is a kind of one and done, which I kind of believe him. I mean, he was really adamant that every pay-per-view must have a title fight headlining. This time it just wasn't happening, so they've kind of had to just conjure something up. I think if he can prevent it again in the future, he will.
But the problem, I suppose, is that you're doing that, but then you've got an amazing 245 that's got 3 title fights in it.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of, you're talking about not being able to get one in November, but you've got 3 in December. I don't know.
That's true. I mean, surely at least
I don't think it's necessary. I really don't think it's necessary, and it shouldn't be necessary to have a title fight at a pay-per-view.
Super necessary.
Yeah, I mean, people, people have always been happy with main events that have got, maybe number 1 title contendership.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that belt's added any intrigue to the fight whatsoever. I mean, those 2 fighters, everyone is there to see them fight. It's nothing to do with this belt they've made up. It does make it a little bit more fun. It throws a bit of spice on it, but everyone's there for the fight itself. No one really cares whatsoever about this belt.
But McGregor will take that as well. That in the terms of Diaz has come back, he fought once and did well against Pettis, and then he's headlining MSG. Second fight back after all this time, so it gives McGregor something to play with as well in terms of negotiating a massive fight for coming back.
Did you see McGregor was saying when's that interim BMF title fight again?
I mean, people want to see that Diaz fight, third fight,
and the Masvidal fight. To be honest, people want to see it for a while until Dana shut it down, and then McGregor got a little bit hurt because he was too small for Masvidal.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Dana, to be honest. As I know that we fought at welterweight before, but he was a little one, and then he was also a little featherweight, to be fair. But I mean, sorry, because he was so thin and skinny. His cut down wasn't great. He is a lightweight guy, and Masvidal could probably have a go at middleweight. He'd be a small middleweight, but he could have a go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard to say anyone's too small when the difference is like £10 or £15 or whatever. But, Masvidal's tall compared to him as well. So
McGregor's still involved in this next thing I'm going to bring up, but obviously it's shortly after Hooker called out Poirier. Poirier took to Twitter and said, I'm fighting the Irishman, go and fight Cowboy. And that was kind of 2 tweets kind of shoved into one, but he tweeted twice saying those things. I'm fighting the Irishman, go fight Cowboy. How do you feel about those kind of statements?
Well, that was in response to Dustin saying that he's going to fight the Irishman, is that right?
So
Poirier responded to the call out saying that he's fighting the Irishman, so go and do whatever. I'm working on my craft. And then so Hooker's responded to him saying that actually I am.
Oh no. As far as I'm aware, obviously Hooker made the call out. Poirier tweeted saying I'm fighting the Irishman, blah blah blah. And then there was a separate tweet from Poirier saying go fight Cowboy. You're not quite there yet. Something along those lines.
Okay, I see. Yeah, so I mean, I do think that the most likely fight for McGregor on his return is that Poirier rematch.
That'd be incredible. I'm all for that.
I really do think it is, and it's that tester for him, isn't it? It can be Poirier versus McGregor is a big enough fight to be a pay-per-view headliner without.
Nowadays, that's a massive fight at this point in time.
Yeah.
That is huge.
So if they did that in the early part of next year, it would be that kind of fight to see. It would keep Poirier win would keep him at the top echelons of lightweight division and give him another title shot soon.
And make him so much money.
Yeah, and make him a hell of a lot of money. And then McGregor winning would basically be a return, and also would put him in the title picture again.
Let's say Conor comes back, fights Poirier TKOs him. What happens to McGregor?
I think he'd probably quit. quit.
I mean, that's not with the realms of reality. That could
Yeah,
happen.
that's entirely possible. Yeah, I mean, I was back in Holloway, and that turned out how it did. So I know that was a different circumstance, but one of the featherweight goats really, and Poirier ripped him up, and it's and he's a big featherweight as well. So
that was just the power differential was far too high there.
yeah.
There was too
but
much.
nobody had any idea that it would be that much different.
Oh no.
Because it was incredible to see how different it was. So Poirier's obviously, his power must be up there for the lightweights. So
And Holloway did hurt Poirier on quite a couple of occasions in that fight, but it seemed like Poirier hurt Holloway with every single clean shot he landed. They kind of buckled him a little bit.
And that's kind of unfortunate, that one, because obviously it was the same night as Gastelum against Adesanya, and nobody was ready for it, because in my opinion that was a better fight.
What, Gastelum Adesanya?
No, Poirier Holloway. Yeah, I thought that was a better fight.
It's hard to pick a favourite. It's like choosing between your two children.
I find that easy. I find that easy to pick. I pick my favourite child all the time. But
you're gonna play that back to them, and like when they're older, and they'll be so angry.
they'll know which one it is by then. But yeah, it's kind of like, because that fight was such a war, nobody was ready for Holloway versus Poirier that came straight after, and it was kind of underappreciated at the time because it was following something that had been so nuts. But yeah, I mean, I had Holloway winning one round. I can't remember which exactly, but also I was close on another one. So I kind of, maybe for my own viewing pleasure, I kind of had it 2-2 in the last, but I do, realistically it was 3-1 going into the last. But yeah, but it was a good fight. It was a great fight, but it just, Poirier is really top level, so it will be a hard comeback fight for McGregor. And
definitely,
people will pile all the money on McGregor and he'll go in as the favourite, but I wouldn't personally put him as the favourite in that fight. So.
No, me either. So you said just another talking point in mind.
I did, last night. Since we are absolutely going crazy on tangents.
Tangents or plenty.
This is the title of this podcast number 6 or 7. What is it? 7, 6?
6.
So podcast number 6 can be called tangents. Yes, my other point is Tai Tuivasa.
That was my point as well.
Yeah, he is a bloke who was 5-0, looked like he could be a real contender in the future.
It's falling apart.
And it's all just gone. He's lost 2 fights in Australia, as well. We're giving him home fights to try and, because I think they did hold high hopes for him to be able to get up there in the division. But yeah, I mean, Spivak, his first win in the UFC, and before he choked him out, he was beating him up.
Yeah, I don't think anyone picked Spivak. Is it Spivak that you say it?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone picked him to win, and he went out and just. It wasn't that difficult.
No, it was. Tai Tuivasa's got either big confidence problems or he needs to switch where he's having his training.
I'd say it's that. I mean, he said and embedded that he's just started. He's been kind of obsessed with weight training this camp, and I don't know. There's more to be focusing on.
I don't know what weight training is going to do when you're already a massive guy with big, heavy hands.
Yeah, exactly. Like the decision making doesn't seem to be there.
No, in my opinion, he needs to work on a bit of stamina. I mean, in those earlier fights, he went a decision with Arlovski, but he looked absolutely wrecked at the end of it. And also, I mean, his defence. I mean, he got absolutely. I mean, he didn't have any defence standing up, and he didn't have any defence on the ground either.
Yeah, I mean, I believe he trains in Australia, doesn't he?
Yeah.
If he wants to if he still has desire to be like a top heavyweight, I reckon he packs his stuff and has to go to AKA. That'd be my pick if I was him.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, they're pretty good with the big guys, aren't they? Well, they've got DC,
DC, Velasquez. I mean, Rock Holzer, I suppose he's a light heavyweight now, so you can count him.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's not quite him, but they've also got Khabib, haven't they? You can't complain at the gym that Khabib's got. Or he trains there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think Cormier talking about him being like the strongest man he's ever trained with, which is crazy.
Yeah. Crazy.
But I was trying to find out. I think Volkanovski. We can't really, maybe he's something else and a bit, he's more talented. He's got a title fight coming up. But he trains out of Australia, and it's not going so badly for him.
Maybe it's just a discipline thing. I mean, he does seem like I really do not know the guy, so it's completely just a kind of guess, but he seems like a bit of a kind of party boy. He seems like he's got other things in his mind.
Yeah, he's definitely, he doesn't seem that serious, does he? You know what I mean? And I don't mean that to disrespect him. I mean, he's quite light-hearted and easygoing, and
he's one of the most likable guys in the UFC, like, definitely.
So, he's a kickboxer as well, isn't he? So he was a pro kickboxer, so maybe AKA would be good for him, just to get him back onto that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a bit disappointed to see that he lost so easily. 9-0 before, 9-3 now. But I mean, he fought against Junior Dos Santos, so maybe that was a bit too soon as well for him. It's not like, it's not like he's fought easy guys. I mean, but then Spivak should have been that fight that would get him back in, because he lost to Ivanov, who's he's good as well.
Yeah.
So
he's fighting Lewis in MSG as well. Oh.
Yeah.
Any chance to mention MSG, I'm all for it. I cannot wait.
Yeah. Well, you should just shut up.
I think that's 2 podcasts in a row, maybe 3 that I've had to throw in there that I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope it's rubbish.
All the decisions, all boring, like Lewis and Ngannou fights.
Oh my god, can you imagine it's only going to be 3 rounds, but a 3-round, like, 1 shot landed each, slow as you like, Ivanov versus Lewis, decision.
I think we know what they're into. We need to go for a sleep.
We are doing more tangents and more diversions than Herodotus here.
We did plan on covering next weekend, but we have ran on quite a bit. So my proposal is that we either really quickly gloss over next weekend, or we save it for a separate, other short video.
Well, I think because of our lack of ability to come together and actually record a friggin' podcast over the last few days, maybe we can at least give it a little touch now. And if we want to do some sort of video, then we can. And it's mostly about how amazing next weekend is in terms of how much MMA is going on.
Yeah, there's spoil for choice.
There's absolutely millions of it. There's Bellator Milan.
Mm-hmm.
Cage Warriors is in Cardiff, I think.
Yeah, I believe you.
We've got Ryzen in Osaka on Saturday this time, not Sunday, because on Sunday, one championship are putting on 2 cards. One for the American audience and one for everyone else who appreciated it already. And yeah, I'm sure there's more that I've forgotten. UFC in Tampa Bay. Joanna against Watson.
I'm looking at that card. It's actually a really good card from top
there's
to bottom.
There's some pretty good stuff going on down the bottom there, isn't there? I was
even the prelims. Yeah, like Ryan Spann. I like Ryan Spann. James Wright, Nico Price. That's an incredible fight.
Yeah.
Max Griffin. I like him as well. He beat Perry, I'm sure.
And obviously we had our previous guest Eric Anders. He's fighting against Mia Short.
Yeah.
That's on the main card, but he's there.
I'd say that the fight to see, in my opinion, the fight to watch on that card is the co-main, Cub Swanson and Cron Gracie.
Yeah, I'm not that excited about it, I'll be honest.
I think it's intriguing.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's like, when Cron called out Cub Swanson, it's one of those call-outs that's a bit disappointing. It's like, it's not very ambitious, if you know what I mean.
It's not, but it's just, I think stylistically there might be. It's an interesting fight.
Yeah. So obviously you got Mackenzie Dern as well. One for the gents. We've got Luis Pena, Violent Bob Ross, back in action as well. Vittori's already back in the cage, and after fighting quite recently, I think. And Devin Clark is the littlest light heavyweight you ever see.
I was actually retracting a comment that the co-main is the fight to watch. The fight to watch is undoubtedly the featured prelim about the James Vick, Nico Price. That's going to be fireworks. Anything with Nico Price. Put Nico Price in there with
You say that, but I would be surprised if Vick survive the first few minutes.
Seriously?
I just think on his current form is for some reason he seems to be like attacking people with his chin. And it's like, you're just getting sparked left and right. And Nico, I know he lost his last fight, and it was we said last time as well, wasn't it? The Price was going to be the fight to watch, and it was really good. But I mean, he was fighting someone very good as well. But I think I'd take Nico to win that one. But yeah, and Marlon Vera opening the prelims. He's always good to watch. Top to bottom, really good.
Solid card, yeah.
Yeah, really solid, especially for a fight night card. And Rising, just to quickly move on to that one, we've got a catchweight bout at the top at 100 kilos, which I'm not entirely sure what that is. It's about light heavyweight, I think, but not quite on 205. Prohaska, who is the light heavyweight champion, he's fighting against Fabio Maldonado, who was Ultimate Fighter Brazil finalist, lost to Stipe. And he's fought Fedor, he's fought a bunch of different guys, so that could be quite good. Kaya Sakura, who knocked out Kyoji Horiguchi 2 months ago, much to my disappointment and upset.
He's that really freakishly long. He's really lean, isn't he?
Yeah, he's tall. He's like 5 foot. He's like 5'10". He was in the UFC. He's 5'10", but he's fought at I think 125 or 132.
Yeah, it was 125. Because I remember he fought Wilson Hayes, and I thought he's big for this weight class.
Yeah, I think he fought in Shooto at 132, but it's in kilograms. But yeah, 132 pounds roughly.
Yeah.
Goes to. So yeah, he's a tall for bantamweight. Never mind tall for fly. And we've got Miyu Yamamoto against Hamdalay Silva, which is, or Sohee Ham, to give her a real name, because she's class. Her knees are just incredible. She was also obviously in the UFC in the past, and I think she's much better now. She'll probably have a really good go in the UFC.
And you love Reina, don't you?
I do love Reina, yeah. We won't talk about what happened in New York in Bellator, but I have always got time for watching Reina. And the start of the lightweight GP with Damian Brown, who's classic gent. Patrick E. Pitbull is in there. And
that's the fight I want to see. I quite like Kawajiri. I like his style. That'd be a good fight to watch.
Yeah, that's probably the one fight from the quarterfinal, which stands out the most. But my pick for the whole tournament is Roberto Satoshi da Souza, I think he's just great. I mean, he's not very well known. He's about 9 or 10-0 at the minute. All of his wins by submission, I think. He's just an incredible athlete, and I think he will go far. And I think there's a good chance he could win that tournament. He's an outside pick, but I'm going to go with it because I do think he's very talented. And one championship, and then we can finish off after that. Obviously, Eddie has pulled out.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. He only got back in because he got knocked out. He got in because someone got injured, got through to the final, and now he's out because he's injured. It's a bit annoying, but that's fine. But because we get to see Angela Lee against Zhang Jinnan rematch, this time Zhang is going for Angela Lee's belt, whereas it was the other way around last time they were in Japan, and Zhang won with it. The punch into Angela Lee's belly was just, it's the face that Angela Lee put on that punch. It was like everybody could feel that punch. It was an incredible punch. She just, that just finished her off. And this was like 2 minutes after Angela Lee had the deepest armbar I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And Zhang's arm was basically bending the wrong way. But, she didn't tap, got up, won. Great fight that was. And DJ against Danny Kingard in the final of the flyweight GP.
I expect to see another kind of DJ sort of masterclass. Yeah,
Kingard is a dangerous fighter, but I would expect DJ will. He's just something else, isn't he? I love DJ.
Also on this card we have Yoshino Kami because he still fights apparently. I had no idea.
He does, yeah. I was watching him in Pride Bushido 2, I think it was, and it was brought back. Oh, he's still fighting in one now. So, and he's bald now as well.
He is also bald, yeah.
But he's that card is not quite as powerful as the second card. But the replacement for Eddie Alvarez, I should say, is Christian Lee, who recently beat Aoki, one of my other favourites, who was, like, 2019 has been a year of my favourites losing. And he is the lightweight champion of ONE. He's always previously fought at featherweight, but they gave him that chance because the lightweight title, all the lightweight contenders were tied up in the GP, and he took it and won. So he's been put into the final for the $1 million prize against Arslan Aliyev, who is also very good. So could be a one to watch, that one. And part 2 has got Brandon Vera against Aung Sang for the it's the light heavyweight, because Vera's already heavyweight champion, and Sang is middleweight and light heavyweight champion, and it's for the light heavyweight championship. So lots of belts in that fight, and it's just full. It's just so good. Bibiano Fernandez belling on 4 after that controversial disqualification for Bellingham last time. Aoki's fighting. Rod Tang is defending his Muay Thai title. There's the kickboxing finals. Mauro Cirilli, who was Cage Warriors heavyweight champion, is fighting against Arjan Bulla, who's just moved there from UFC. It's just absolutely full, this card, of former champions. And obviously there's also a crossover between Shootout and Pancrase happening. The champions in those divisions, bantamweight and strawweight and welterweight and lightweight, are all fighting against each other under the ONE banner. So, it's for JMMA fans, that's a massive deal. So yeah, next weekend, amazing.
Maybe in a filthy casual kind of shall say, aren't they? Let you take the reins.
Well, I watched ONE championship before I ever watched UFC.
That is not something that a lot of people can say.
No, but I mean, ONE championship hasn't even been going that long either. But I've just given you all an idea of how recently I actually got into MMA.
Fair enough.
Considering ONE championship only started in 2011. So I'm probably more of a baby in MMA terms than you are, and you're only 18.
No. I mean, again, we've been a filthy casual. None other than Conor McGregor got me into UFC, so got me into MMA, I should say. Sorry, my casual side coming out.
Oh my god!
See what I mean?
You just revealed you train UFC, and you've got.
I do train UFC.
You've got a wardrobe full of Affliction and Tap Out t-shirts.
That's right. That is it. I mean, you got me into MMA, but I mean, primarily, as I showed there, my lack of knowledge of anything else, primarily UFC. Let's be honest.
Well, it's an expanding world. It's like it's understandable why a lot of people over the last few years, UFC has been so ubiquitous and so successful that it's synonymous, isn't it? MMA, UFC, MMA, and that is all that people know. A lot of people know about that exists to do with MMA. So
I do always pledge to myself that I'm going to watch more promotions, but I mean, I watch a bit of Bellator, I watch some Cage Warriors, but as far as like the whole kind of Asian MMA scene goes, I'm quite clueless.
Yeah, well, we'll get you there.
Yeah, one day.
It's worth it because it's on at a really good time of the day for us.
Is it? See that is a selling point right there.
It starts at sort of 7, 8 o'clock for the prelims in the morning, and then the main card's sort of 11 a.m, 12 p.m, something like that. And at the weekend, that's a very good time. So,
yeah,
good stuff. And we've been talking for more than we planned, but it's only an hour. It's only an hour. It's all right.
Half an hour to 45 for the.
Yeah, we went for 30 to 45 minutes, and we're currently on 63. So, it's not a big deal.
I mean, the record's only 58, so it's not overselling myself.
Okay, that's all right then.
It's not too bad. Well, on that note, before actually, I want to just throw in a little quick fact. I saw it from the Twitter page, MMA History Today. They've said if Adesanya does take on Costa for the belt, it's the first time ever that 2 undefeated fighters will fight for the middleweight title. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, that is good. A bit of history. Yeah, finish on that nice cliche.
Yeah.
So anyway, anyone who listens, thank you for staying the distance, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ross, for the good chat.
Just a wee quick sorry. Let's delay
Oh
it
no!
for another quick
No!
second.
Go
I've
on.
just kind of broke the smoothness of it. Should have Sam Alvey on soon. Just 'cause
Oh yeah, Sam Alvey fighting Shogun.
I feel like if I make these things public, then there's more pressure on us to actually get it done. So Sunday's new recording day. Sunday's new recording day. Sam Alvey is coming on soon. I'll try and stick to those two things. Ross Houston is still waiting to get him on. We're still kind of in limbo with him. He told us he'll come on. He was meant to come on. We couldn't do it, and there's kind of been no further discussion. But yeah, there's some guests coming on soon. Should be weekly episodes now. We're gonna try to hold ourselves to that. But yes, now if you want, you can sign us out, Matt. That's all.
Okay. Well, thanks to anybody who listens, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye, everyone. Thank you, and good night.